Why do we punish? New Ban 2007 defines punishment as the specific penalties imposed as a result of such wrongdoing. So therefore, prison is a penalty for lawbreakers. Capital punishment is, like hanging, was predominantly used in the UK. However, lost its appeal after many mistakes of innocent people dying of crimes they've never committed. There are 6 rationales of punishment. First being rehabilitation. Rehabilitation is seen as a form of treatment. It gets the criminal to rethink how they were living and what they were doing was wrong, and try to get them to start living their lives in a new way. Next one is incapacitation, which can include prison. It keeps public safe and make sure the criminal cannot make any further damage. Punishment can also be seen as a deterrence. Having high sentencing levels for certain crimes can deter people from committing that certain crime. The next two are denunciation and restoration. Having constant disapproval of a certain crime can deter society from committing it. And restoration is seen as a compensation for victims, so the victim can play more of a role in the criminal's conviction. Prison, in comparison to the 6 rationales of punishment, can be seen as an effective way of sentencing criminals. Prison can be seen as a deterrence for many, as particular crimes hold stronger and longer sentence times. Also, many hold a certain image of prison. Some news reporters can help reduce crime by reporting how prisoners live and live after prison. Prison can also be particularly helpful to criminals, as many offer rehabilitation whilst the offender is serving their time behind bars. This can include anything from drugs to alcohol. The Prison Reform Trust explained that 48% of prisoners are at or below a reading age of 11-year-old, and 82% in writing. This had some link into where reoffending happens, as criminals do not have the skills into finding jobs, therefore look elsewhere for something like money, which could lead to stealing. The Department of Business, Innovation and Skills saw this and invested in education in public prisons. The expected results from this is to reduce offending by 12%. However, to have rehabilitation and education in prisons can cost a lot. Also, generally keeping people in prison can be costly too. The cost to keep one person in prison has predominantly gone up through the years. The figure between 2010 and 2011 was that it cost on average £26,976 just to keep one person in prison. These statistics are from the Ministry of Justice Report 2011. The figure prompts the question whether keeping petty criminals in prison worth it, when there are different and alternative punishments available that could be a lot more cheaper. One objective for the prisons and criminal justice system is to reduce the rates of reoffending. They explain that approximately 1/2 of prisoners will reoffend within their first year of release. Ministry of Justice also published a report into the research of 480,000 offenders, and over a 9-year period the group committed approximately 3.6 million further offences. The statistics showed that the reoffending is still a massive problem for the criminal justice system, and that they need to focus more on the statistics, getting this lower. Leading on from reoffending, the population in prison has also risen. Parliament UK to supply a graph of statistics showing that the rise in population gradually started in 1994 onwards. The graph suggests that the population in the prison shall continue to rise up to 2015. The question is whether the current prison system would be able to cope with the constant rise in the prison population. Moreover, a recent report from Birmingham 2013 showed that there are 83,842 people currently in prison, 3% decrease from 2012. It shows a positive start. However, still the number is high, and many prisons at their 100% capacity complain that it's hard to cope with the high numbers of people. Again, this is from Bertman and Dar 2013. Prisons can also harm a criminal's life from when they leave, even when they have changed and reformed themselves. This is because the stigma that prison holds. Once you mention you've served time in prison, you can and still will be discriminated against, as it may mean offenders may not get a job they want and need. This could lead to criminals becoming more distressed and depressed, harming their mental health. So is prison too harsh for some criminals? This leads to alternative punishments that are available. For example, restorative justice has become more in use in the UK. This type of punishment is when literally the criminal takes on the responsibility of making amends with the victim. The offender and victim meet and then discuss how the offence committed against the victim has changed and hurt their lives. Marshall in 1998 believed that this type of punishments will be much quicker for minor and petty crimes, rather having to wait to go through the legal system. It also saves money too. Furthermore, this punishment has helped victims' satisfaction as it allows victims to voice their concerns and make a joint decision in how the offender can make it up to them. Justice UK also suggests that criminals are more likely to comply to punishments as it's come from the victim. Boycott 2012 report suggests that having this method fully implemented could lead to a drop in 14% in reoffending rates. This is gathered from research from other countries that have this method already in place. However, like prisons, restorative justice also has its disadvantages with using it as a punishment. Criminals are coming face to face with their victims, who can be particularly vengeful, which could be potentially dangerous for the offender. Newburn 2007 also suggests that the victim can come under intense stress and anxiety when meeting an offender who committed a crime against them. So is it right to put the victim through this? There are also many other forms of punishments that are available to use, which can include a curfew, being back at a certain time, to unpaid work up to 300 hours. And certain rehabilitation facilities are available, either residential or oracles. These are compulsory attendance, as it could lead to them being put into prison if they do not attend. There is a wide variety of alternative punishments available for offenders. Prisons are effective, however, I believe should be used for more and most serious crimes. This is when they cause harm to somebody or to the society. However, not to say that no crime is serious, but crimes like burglary, fraud can be sentenced with something like restorative justice or community payback. It is hard to suggest whether prison is a cost-effective method to use in the UK, as the amount of reoffending that has happened and still is happening could mean that the criminal justice system needs to find a better or harsher punishments for those that keep reoffending, especially for certain crimes. Thank you for listening. This is my presentation.